Okay. This is our last group call, and everyone had their one-to-one with me last week, and this week we're going to look into another tool that we've been I found it a really useful tool for doing the shadow work and aspect work. And that's the test I've sent for you for doing to find out what is your dominant saboteurs. So we're going to talk about those and relationship of the saboteurs with the shadow work and how we can use that as another effective tool to work with our shadows. And also towards the end, we're going to review all the tools that we've been working on. Just to remember that when they take over, which one is more suitable for us and how, just remember that it's a process. It's an ongoing process until we're alive, or maybe until when we come back in our next life. We have to do more of that. Yeah. But, that's why we're here, to just expand and face more of our aspects and then expand more and grow more. So has everyone, like, I know Irina and Natalie, you've done your test. Sandra, did you do your test as well?
Yes, yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So you have the results with you.
Yes. Yeah. I took a photo. I read also the description for like the meaning of everything. Yeah. It wasn't very pleasant. I was like, oh, that. I was doing that a lot and then noticing my reactions.
Yeah.
It was quite general, like each part. So yeah.
I can imagine. So let me first start with just giving you a brief introduction about saboteurs and why I thought it would be a useful tool to introduce it, and then we go through and see who's in the house today, who we have, which saboteurs we've got.
Yeah.
So, saboteurs are the collection of behaviors or the way we deal with things, and they create a profile. So every one of us have like some saboteurs that they've been living with and in for a long time. And I think they come in a bundle, and they usually bribe the judge. So there's saboteurs, there's judge, and there's your sage power, which is the higher self, the divine self, divine presence, or self in the other models that we've been looking at. So they come in bundles, and they try to protect you from an external fear that they've, for some reason, either we've been born with them, so it's part of our akashic, karma release, or ancestral, things that we're here to resolve, or it's the saboteur's shape when we have faced as a very young child, we face some trauma. And trauma in that sense is not a huge thing. Trauma for a little child could be, the child wanted milk and mother was not available. So that is a traumatic experience for a child in that age. So that's as little as that when we think about it as an adult, or it could shape in a when we are a bit younger or more adult. So there are many ways that saboteurs shape. But what is important about saboteurs is that they tell you a lie, a survival lie. And we have been living this life for such a long time that we believe them. So there is a way, like working with saboteurs is, first of all, identifying which one you have. Second of all, accepting that, like for me, it took about 2 months at least, I think, to accept my first saboteur. I was expecting everything else, but not that one. I am everything, but not that one. You know. So first of all, just take time to, if you have that resistance or intolerance towards even hearing that you have that saboteur, just take your time and just realize that everyone has a saboteur, or it's okay to have it. So there's nothing wrong. So it's a work in progress with you, your judge, an acceptance of this other part of you, which sometimes is really hard to accept. And then realizing that what saboteurs are, like when you feel in stress, then something is not balanced, and it's usually saboteur is telling you a lie. Because otherwise, if you were in your sage power, you feel so calm, so connected, and you hear the right message. So saboteurs are like interfering or blocking the way for you to receive the right message. Okay, so every time you feel stress, one of the techniques that working with these saboteurs help is to realize that they are label that as a lie. Listen to that voice and then label that as a lie, and then say, my saboteurs say this, instead of I think this or I feel this. It's this, even that identification and labeling help a lot. So that's the first step. And also then there is some like meditation techniques that I'm going to send for you tomorrow. It's a short one. Yeah, you can do 5 minutes or 10 minutes version of that. It's just disconnecting from the lie or the current stress and diverting your attention to some physical thing, either your body, either breath, different things, the sounds. And then just even that 10 seconds of distraction helps to bring you from being identified by your saboteurs to connecting with your sage power, and then giving yourself that gap to be able to decide, okay, who am I now? I'm not my emotion. I'm not my physical body. I'm not my saboteurs. I am the consciousness, the choice that chooses which one of them to go with. So that even that, like being able to come to this point, that is the key. And working with saboteurs, one of the tools is like realizing that, okay, I am not that. And the more you do that, the more you say, I am not that, then you kind of like, the saboteurs are always going to be with you, right? But each saboteur has a gift, which we're going to go through. I think it was not in the email that you received. So we're going to go through that. When the saboteur is in balance and it's not in super activated or hyperactivated or in the polarity, then we can use the gifts of the saboteurs. Yeah. So that's like as like introductions to this. I think it's called positive intelligence. So there's this guy who sent you the email, the place, so you can follow him or read his book. I found it very useful. So that's another tool. Now I think what we could do, which helps a lot, is actually see the way I work with my saboteurs is that I have mainly focus on the first 3 So first and then the second 2. And then see, like they show up pretty much in everything that we do. And then the first thing is to kind of like connect with them and identify their lies and label them. And sometimes it's also good to give them a name. For example, I think I have a restless, and I called her Genius Creative, something like that. So I a positive name or negative, it doesn't really matter. Give them a name, so it's easier for us to label. Oh, okay. So who's talking now? Who's in the room now? Who's in the guest house now? Okay. So who wants to go first with their saboteurs? Like score number one. Let's see what we have. Um,
I can go first since we're all quiet.
yeah.
So, shall I tell you just number one or the first three?
Tell me number one, and then because I think yours you had some same score, right?
So, number one is hypervigilant, and then the other two, which have the same score, are stickler and hyper rational.
Yeah. And then what was after that?
Controller, which actually has the same score. So these last three all have the same score: controller, hyper rational, and stickler.
Okay, so I think that's good because otherwise then it's good to be aware of your next saboteur, but I think these four are quite working well to create a scene or control everything quite well together. Yeah. And Sandra, what are yours?
My first three were victim, the first one. The second one is a stickler. They're all three with the same score, 6.3, and then hyperachiever. And then it drops to the fourth one with 3.8 to a pleaser.
So when you said the first three are the same score,
Yes.
was victim, stickler, and what?
Hyperachiever.
Hyperachiever. And then pleaser.
The fourth one is pleaser with 3.8.
Okay. And Natalie, what are yours?
Similar to you, Sandra. So I don't have my scores right in front of me because I'm on my phone, but I can roughly remember that they were around the 4 mark. But victim was the highest, which I did not enjoy reading.
No, me neither. No.
And because within that is martyrdom, and my mum is such a martyr, and I still have this big part of me that's like, I want to be anything but like my mother.
Okay.
So yeah, victim.
I'm going to share mine next, and you see how much synchronicity is here. Okay.
And then it was stickler, and then I think it was controller, and then pleaser. I can't remember those two. I think it was controller and then pleaser. But interesting, when you were talking, Baha, introducing the saboteurs, I had this massive revelation, quite massive, because for everyone else who doesn't know, I've been having a difficult time. I had a knee injury, a bad one, and I've been stuck in bed for like 3 weeks now because it's a really bad injury. And because I'm a wheelchair user, I have a disability, so other people need to assist me with moving. So it's just a little bit more difficult kind of, getting moving. And I was wondering why the universe gave this to me. And I think it's and from myself, my higher perspective, I was like, what the hell is this all about? And I think this is about the victim part of me and meeting that part, because I felt like a proper victim over these last 3 weeks, off and on. Like there have been times when I've just been so woe is me. And then I've also been like, I've been having quite a time of it over these past 3 weeks with the injury. It's brought a lot of stuff up for me. And I think, you know, our consciousness knows before we do. So I have had all this resistance coming in and lots of stress feelings, like much more than normal. And I think it's this saboteur part of me that is like, okay, my ego's like, you've changed a lot and we've been okay with this and we've let it slide, even though we have not been happy about it. And it's like these parts of me did not want to let go. They've been holding on for dear life. So it's interesting because I've had moments of feeling very free and in line with my higher self and very much aligned, but then going completely polar opposite to just being very like fearful and doubtful and just like all of this resistance. And even in like, I'll be really honest, like with these calls, like for the last couple of weeks, like the last time, I think before that it was different, but last time I was like, I just don't want to be here and I'm not getting anything from this. And like all of these like rebellious parts of me and just all this resistance was just, yeah, sorry, I'm gone off on a tangent, but I feel very energized because I feel like I've had this massive shift during this call. It's like now I realize it's like, oh, that's why, and that's why, and that's why. And I just felt a huge, like, you know, if you think of your resistance like a shield, because, you know, it's protecting you, I felt like a huge layer of my armor just like loosened grip and fell away.
Yeah, it's so interesting because as you said, the very thing that we don't want to see and we kind of like judge or avoid, suppress, whatever is the reaction, is the only thing that free us. And the universe has usually put us in a situation to see it, face it. Like sometimes tie our hands back and say, see, please see. See what's going on. And it's interesting when you mentioned the victim part of you, and both Sandra and Natalie were, you know, not enjoying or not wanting to accept that there is this victim part in them. It's very normal because it was exactly the same thing for me. So mine is the big one was victim, 7.5. And then just right after that, there is restless, pleaser, and controller. So I was okay with accepting all of them, but not the victim, because I wanted to be everything, but not like my mom. Exactly what you said. I always judge my mom for being a victim, and I didn't want to be like her. But then when I gave myself time and I just read the description of the victim and allow myself to, first of all, it takes time because the judge is there, and see, like usually when you have a very strong first saboteur, the second and third, you know, the ones that come just after that, create a good cover for whatever that you don't want to be the most. So for example, in your case, Natalie, stickler, controller, pleaser, create a good protection layer around the victim. That's why you didn't want to see that. Stickler, perfectionist, I'm good in everything, you know, controller, I should be involved, no one, I cannot trust anyone. If I'm not involved, no one can do that, micromanaging people. And pleaser, you know, creating this facade of projecting expectation, but doing nice things, but expecting people. So, you know, creating this layer on top of your victim to protect it. And it's the same with Sandra and myself, you know, stickler, hyperachiever, pleaser, you know, it's actually, you've been having this, thing stick in your hands, and you're punishing this little child by wanting them to be the best, achieving a lot, and perfectionism, and also pleaser, this nice person, and I do this for everyone, no one understands me, they don't give it back to me, that why don't people do, they are so selfish. Again, to protect the victim, and it's the same case with me, restless, just doing a lot, achieving and controller, and pleaser, to just create, to protect that victim, the very thing that I didn't want to see. And in your case, Irina, it's very interesting because there's this, you build this rational part of you, stickler, hyper rational, and controller, like the kind of like the archetype of the boss, yeah, to protect this hyper vigilant, this part of you that is scared, that is cautious, is so fearful of something, yeah. Can you see the relevance of what we've done so far to these saboteurs?
Yeah, and actually, further down just the next things on the list are also the victim and the pleaser coming straight up after everything, So they are there, just
Yeah.
further down the list. Yeah, it was at the same ranking,
I was thinking, have you all read the description? Because the description was quite, detailed.
And harsh, quite harsh.
Who's that? Is that
Yeah.
is that the judge talking?
Well, I felt like it was very well structured, but in the same time tough, like rigid. They were telling you in your face. You had no escape. You had to admit it, and relating with those moments when yes, you did complain. Yes, you excused too much. So it wasn't easy to read all those descriptions like step by step. But like no, but we had to accept it.
But the thing is, the whole point is that, first of all, to observe that reaction.
Yes,
That's completely normal to have that reaction.
very
And then,
childish and immature.
yeah, no, not immature. Just remind yourself that you are not that reaction. You are not your emotions. And also, the good thing, which I'm going to read for us now and go through that, is the gifts. So every one of these saboteurs have a gift. If we work with them, with the sage power, so we form a council instead of like trying to judge each other, or they've been bribing the judge for such a long time. But now it's a new age, so we need to work together. And once they are balanced, they will give us all the gifts behind them. So we can make it more in balance, so we can benefit. There is a reason that you've chosen that saboteur. There is a reason that this saboteur is part of you. Because once you go through the negativity of that and come to acceptance with that, you realize there is a lot of positive qualities that each saboteur has there to offer. I'm going to start by victim, because I think there's
I like that.
Dominant.
dominance. We have 3 victims in this. So the victims, one thing, like there are some tips that we need to, I also read. There is deep sadness within us. We just need to own that energy and work with that. So I do everything not to feel it, but it's there. So ownership of that energy. Yeah. There's deep sadness that we're trying to cover and not go there. Okay? and others feel frustrated with the victim because whatever they do, they're not going to satisfy the victim, because the sadness, the energy is something that the victim herself or themselves should resolve. And they just don't listen to you anymore, because it feels for them, for external people who come to our field, it feels like they are giving us a painkiller. So they just feel frustrated and try to distance from us, because they think whatever I do, it doesn't matter. She's always sad. She's always there. You know, they feel useless. Yeah, and so, but there is some. Every saboteur has some strength when it's in balance. So the victim's strength are sensitivity. They have good feelings for things. They are so self-aware. So look into themselves, right? So this is something that not everyone cares about. So this is the gift of the victim. They are very creative, either in art, in music, in writing, very individualistic, right? So they don't really need others. They can deal with their stuff themselves. This is all the balanced victim. And very intro-reflective, very good healers. Yeah, so we have at least 3, and like Irina is also this victim. Because you've been there, you can help others, you can heal others. So they are really good healers, and they are very inspirational people. Very good teachers, and yeah. So look, I think when you look at something that you don't like, in this dimension, everything is there is a polarity. So there is positive and negative. So when you had this reaction, oh, I don't want to be everything, I don't want to be a victim, I want to be everything but not a victim, just think about all the good qualities that when you pass this judgment comes with that. So I think I started in February working with my victim saboteur, and now I'm more connecting with my with the strength of the victim. Is the reason that I'm doing all this work, because I felt it. I really have allowed myself to go deep. Yeah.
Thank you for passing this on. Passing the bliss.
Which one should I go next?
There was a stickler.
Stickler.
Yeah, I got that one too. And the pleaser after that.
Yeah, okay, I'll do a stickler and then the pleaser. And I think I should do controller, because I think everyone... Sandra didn't have a controller, right?
No.
No.
I think was very low.
Yeah, okay. And that was Natalie, myself, Irina. 3 of us have controller as the second 4. So I'm just trying to... Which one?
Third one, I think, controller was for me.
Oh, okay. Stickler. They are very judgmental, okay, that's because there is stickler. They not only judge themselves, they judge others, they want a perfectionist. But the strength of if you're working in a team, you want a stickler in your team, because they have really good strength, right? So they bring things in order. And they are communicating things as they are. So they are not trying to, so in a sense that, okay, this is how it is. They are not trying to cover it with sugar coat it, things like that, which is really good. You want to work with stickler person. They are really good leaders and very reliable. So these are all, because, you know, for them, everything is about being perfect order. But then once they really stop judging and stop, you know, more trusting, then they are really good in what they do, and that's why they are really good leaders. But the problem is when they start judging others, right, and themselves. And then they project the energy of nothing is good. It doesn't matter how much work you do. It's not good. It's not, you're not good enough. I'm not good enough. You're not good enough. You know that. And then let's go to pleaser.
Can I just say as well with the with that one that you just did, the way that it can sneak up on you is like being the reasonable criticizer. You know, the one where it's like shrouded in being reasonable. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but I think the most interesting thing with this model is to remember your sage power, and you remember that these are all like saboteurs. You are not them. You are not them. It's just a part of you, but then the part that is controlling. So it's just like creating that gap, the conscious gap for you to realize, I am not this. Okay, I am listening to my sage power, and I have the choice to choose one of them. I am the consciousness. I am the choice that I choose. You are not. You are not either of them. Because, you know, from a soul level, from a higher self level, you can be any of that. But you choose which reality you create, and to be able to come to this state of mind that you have a choice, it just requires a little bit of practice. I would say, I don't know, maybe a month would do. So you can you can come back, bring yourself back. Okay, I have a choice. Oh, okay, I have a choice. It happens. It keep happening. But then you build that muscle, and then slowly, after 3 months, after 6 months, after one year, you're a completely different person. Your energy, your vibration, the way you show up is completely different. While you have all these parts with you, you haven't dumped them or hide them. You own it. Yeah, I have a victim. Now I can talk about it. But 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I have a victim, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, please, they always need reassurance. Yeah, you're doing good. You're good. Well done. You know, they also feel that I give too much and I don't have that much back, right? They leave themselves behind, put everyone else in front of them, and ignore their own needs. And the interesting, very interesting thing about pleaser is that people get the vibration of expectation beneath pleaser actions, right? We think we're doing them like me, because I am a pleaser as well. So we think we're doing them because of that task or that thing, because of them. But behind that, there's also a vibration that you're projecting, saying that if I do this for that person, I expect them to then, when I am in need or whatever, they give it back to me. And people feel it, even though you're not telling that, even though even you are not conscious of not having that when you do a task or favor for someone. And it's very important because because they feel the vibration, and they do not take you into account that much. Yeah, people around you. and they need to take so the tip for victims is to take care of their bodies and heal themselves. Yeah, because pleaser usually puts themselves behind, like everyone else before them. And this is a survival behavior that the victim has developed, the pleaser has developed at some stage in their life. So you must give love to receive love. Again, it's not an unconditional love. I really, really related, for many years, I related to that sort of love. So when someone told me I love you, I was always asking why.
Mm.
Yeah? Like, why do you love me? Like, because I love you. And, okay, what have I done that I deserve love, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like, I was living in this reality of to receive love, to, you know, what is it? To give, I give love to receive love. So it was just like a bargain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the recommendation for the pleaser is really, really take care of yourself, your body, your need. You first. That's your mantra. You, I first. Like first, like especially your body and your connecting with like kind of like do something for yourself that is nurturing and bringing you back to your needs and physicality.
And it makes sense as well why you perhaps relate that way, because if when you were young you had to act a certain way to receive love and acceptance, you know, that's how you learn about the exchange of love, isn't it? With you weren't conscious of it, but that's just what you learn you had to do.
Yeah. And do you see this pattern, like how victim pleaser come together and work together really well? If you feel a victim, then you create, like it's one of the very common patterns of saboteurs, like common bundles of saboteurs, victim pleaser, because you have this victim and you create a pleaser to receive love and give it to the victim. And the strength of the pleaser is they are really empathic. Yeah. They are so loving people and they have really high emotional intelligence. They can feel, so when they enter a room, they can feel what everyone else is feeling. That's a great, great quality to have. Not everyone is like that. And they are also very self-aware. So this, now think about the strength part. As a person who's working in therapy or in healing, just see empathic, loving, high emotional intelligence with those qualities of the strength of the victim. Then that's why we can be great healers or great people in therapy, any sort of therapy, or in art, like because victims are very creative people as well, because you sense things and you feel things, you can create, you can feed it into your artwork. Let's go to the controller. And this was one of my challenging ones because she's so much in control. Sometimes she projects fear to me, but I have it, I own it. What can I do? A lot in competition with others, yeah, creating conflict. And they say, for example, if I don't do it, well, no one is going to do that, so I'm in charge. They feel really responsible for whatever it is that they are involved in. They create anxiety when they involve in a team or in project or in, you know, for ourselves. And they create fear. and for short time they are doing really well because they can do things, they are so capable. But in long term, it's not going to work because people don't like to be controlled, right? So if you're dealing with someone, I don't know if it's your partner or if it's your if it's a team you're working with and you have this controller involved, a saboteur, results are short term, not long term. And the other thing is that controller needs a lot of energy to control self and others, so they feel usually and it's very draining, so they feel tired. This, you're just, controllers waste a lot of energy because of that, because it's not only others, it's themselves that they're controlling as well. And their strength are a lot. They are really good when the controller is in balance. They are really good co-creators. They get things done. If you're working in a team or in a company, you want a controller. A person with a controller saboteur is needed because they know what they do. They get things done. And they do things right. They activate others and they activate things, they are very persistent. They achieve goals. They deal with the challenging situations really well. So they're not they are very responsible people. And the tip for the controller is to work with your inner sadness, and connect with that feeling. So the controller, because the controller saboteur doesn't allow us to feel the feeling, it tries to control the external reality. But just connecting with what am I feeling right now, it will help, because in the end, the result of controlling yourself and others is more sadness. You are sad because you are trying to control things. And some other tips that really works for controller saboteur is do crazy stuff, scream, do something that you haven't done, go naked, for example, something, because they put a lot of barriers, like should and shouldn't, that sort of thing. Really unpredicted stuff will help, and let it go, because cannot stick to that for just allow, just let it go, let it be, relax, let it happen, relax. So that is maybe the mantra for the relax. Trust. Yeah. I think because Irena's first one was hypervigilant, I'm going to read that one as well, and then see how we're. So they need rules, and they are worried and anxious about things. What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But the good thing, about the strength of a hypervigilant saboteur or balanced hypervigilant, is that they know the risks, and if you're working in a team, you need a hypervigilant person in the team, because they see the problem and they know the risk. So it's good to have someone like them in the team. They are super dependable, very loyal, and they are working towards objectives. They are very stable, rooted, very connected to the energy of Earth. Yeah, and very organized. So these are all the strength of hypervigilant person. The interesting thing is that I have hypervigilant as my lowest, the last saboteur. So, you know, I'm not very good in taking care of risks. I don't care about risk. I just want to do. And my husband, I've done it with him as well. He's like his first one was hypervigilant. See how they attracted each other, like exactly the opposite. To come and you know to reflect the polarity of who we are.
Yeah.
It's always like that. And then for me, for example, if you do that with your partners, that would be interesting. Like my second to last is hyper rational, and his second was hyper rational. Exactly, like if you do the opposite, and we had something in the middle, like each other. So yeah. Any other saboteurs that you want me to read the gifts for you? No? Okay, so let's, before, maybe for the next like 10, 15 minutes, I'd like to see how everyone relates to this model, and if you find any relevance between this model with the ones that we've been working with before. And the most important thing is the meditation that I'm going to send for you tomorrow. So it's just like disconnecting. Once you realize that you are, triggered or stressed by something, first of all, identify which saboteur of mine is that. Then do this, come back to, for 10 seconds, come back to your physical, anything physical. Look at something, touch your fingers like this, come back to your breath, and then listen, allow the sage part of you to talk and say, okay, so what is the other part of me saying? So anyone wants to share anything that came up reading these saboteurs of them?
It's really nice to, think of the other part of it and all the ways in which that, it shaped you as a person. But obviously now you get to balance it by being aware of it. And I think for me, this part's been really helpful and like the biggest breakthrough I've had, really, because I feel like, I'm becoming really conscious of the saboteurs and how they're showing up in my life. So it's becoming more conscious. I don't feel as lost in it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And also, I think it's also good to remember that saboteurs come in bundle. So, for example, stickler, controller, pleaser, kind of like creating a wall, a protection layer around the victim in your case. But then all of them have the right to be there as long as they are collaborating. That's just like it's a blueprint given to you. Okay, Natalie, you come to this incarnation. This is this. Okay, see what you can create with that. Some of them are good cards, some of them are normal cards, some of them are not very good cards. So go play.
Yeah.
Bahar,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if anyone felt awkward this week, because as Natalie said that she struggled with the pain in her knee. Like my week was feeling like I was feeling really clumsy. I fell twice once like really hurt my knee, and then the second one on the knee again, like really awkward. And usually I'm not so clumsy, and it felt like it's energy from somewhere. Like for me, everything was backwards or doing things that sometimes, or if someone looked at me, I just felt, or I felt straight away very anxious if someone looked at me straight on the street. Or so it's something, it's me looking vulnerable or attracting this type of energy or being clumsy, because I didn't felt before, and in 1 week I felt twice, and with few occasions I felt really disturbed by people looking at me and catching their eyes, and then I was scared and just looking somewhere else. There is any way I can protect with a mantra, or there is something going on in the energy? It's something to do with me.
And so the energy was anxiety, anxious.
Yeah. I was totally fine walking. Then I catch the eyes of someone looking straight at me, and then I'm losing it. And I fall. And it happened twice, one with a bicycle, and it just, I didn't have any second the thought that I'm gonna bump into a wall. I was just driving because I'm driving the bicycle. I'm cycling quite a lot. But I passed through some group of people, some group of girls. I could catch their eyes. They looked at me, not in a bad way. They just looked at me very strongly. And I got some kind of energy which made me direct wrongly the bicycle. Then I was in Starbucks. I took my coffee. There was a man, elder man, saying something about me. And I was with a mask, like nothing to, like dress properly. And then I fell in both knees. Yeah. So the coffee was okay. I hold the coffee, but I went to the car and I was saying to Theo, like, is this something, it happened second time, and with few occasions I felt so anxious when people were looking straight at me with some kind of energy. And I remember when I was small, my grandma was saying that I was catching quite a lot bad energy from people, like straight away if someone was looking at me, I was throwing up or I was having fever straight away. And for a while, this didn't happen to me. And now for this past week, it felt really heavy. I had a really weird week. And then I left London for 2 days to just stay without people because I didn't know how to deal with this.
And when, like, just immediately just after you had these experiences, did you connect with the belief that I'm catching some negative energy or something?
I'm catching some bad energy, yeah. That was the first feeling I had.
And
I meditated. I did a protection mantra. All the week was planned to do lots of things, and I couldn't do anything because my knee was quite badly injured, and I had to keep it. I couldn't do any yoga. I couldn't go to the studio. So it really put me down, because in a way I felt like, okay, everything now, I need to cancel all my plans, and I was very disappointed. But I don't know what's behind it. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to have a better week without falling apart.
What came to my mind, Sandra, was that, first of all, that belief that I'm catching negative energy, this is something that you need to work on.
Yeah.
So when you have that vibration, then you catch. So that's one thing that you need to be aware of. And you know, I have a meditation for a protection egg. It's just 6 minutes. I will send it for you.
Please.
It's really helpful. But I think the most important thing is to take, there is something within you, like taking ownership of your energy. So there's something within you that is attracting that and not projecting that on the outside. So first of all, that belief, I would question that, like question that.
Can I add something, Baha?
Yeah.
Sorry, just because because it's like, okay, so what I got intuitively, Sandra, when you were talking is that it's to do with Mercury retrograde, but to do with your soul journey, and that you're opening up psychically. That's what I felt. And so that's just to add to that, when you experience the world psychically, like you do pick up on energy and you do see things like that would be negative for you. So I'm not saying that there's not beliefs behind that and all of that, and maybe the somebody looking directly at you feeling sort of seen in a certain way. But I would also just like to say that when you are psychic and you experience the world that way, you do receive things differently. You know, it's a different awareness, and there's many layers to that, and obviously it's unique for each person in their experience.
But there is any way I can stay away, because I didn't enjoy, because I felt super guilty. I ruined the evening because we were meant to go with my son and with my husband somewhere. We hired a bicycle, so then I was the one ruining the whole evening, and it felt really bad. And then again, the whole things which has been cancelled, I felt like I disappointed people, I let them down. And if there is any way, like I don't want to catch these energies.
I think, Sandra, this is the part that also you need to work on, feeling guilty, because things happen, you know, and you thinking you're responsible for that, then you, like, there's this, what is, you know, the reality, and then you're adding a layer of suffering on top of that. So something happened which you labeled that it's not nice, I didn't like it, it was painful, whatever. Then you added, then as a consequence of that, something cancelled. Then you added another layer saying that, oh, I'm guilty, it's my fault, I don't like to catch it, it's my fault, my grandmother said that you are, you know, it's happening. So really be aware of the parts that you have control on over.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not in control with anything. That was the reason when I got like, okay, I need to slow down, I need to look of what's happening. I'm taking it slowly. But then when I fell again, and straight away in my mind was that topic that someone said something about my perfume, someone said something about my mask, someone said something about my trousers, and then I fell. And I said, like, okay, maybe I should, like, how can I be like people not to notice or to make comments about me, because then I'm losing. I don't feel strong to deal with these things. I feel nice when I'm going unnoticed, because if it's a place when people had something to say about me, I don't know how to receive that, and I felt very weak. And it was just this week. In other occasions, I felt okay, and I knew how to reply to a remark or to something. But this week, it was like all like this shuffling. It's just a time, or it's with the eclipse, it's with me, with something I need to start a prayer, or it's in my mind.
I think all of that.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah.
So I will send you this meditation, and I think what Natalie says also is relevant. But as well, you know, the thing that you have control over is your reaction to things. And
falling apart.
yeah, you know, when something happens, you can choose how to tell that story to yourself. what, why that happened. And also, your numerology, number 7. Can you review that part? I think I sent you the video. There's something came to my mind about not being seen. It's part of that, and there was some tips about number 7 because you are number 7, right?
Yeah.
Maybe have a check. And,
I will check again the numerology.
and there was some mantras about balancing your 7th body.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've sent you this protection egg mantra meditation.
Send that to me as well. I mean, I'm curious.
Yeah, I will. I will share it with all of you. And yeah, thank you for sharing, Sandra.
Thank you for taking the time, because it's been very interesting week for me.
So I also thought, like, before we finish, we just go through all the tools that we've done and introduced in this course together. So because we looked into different models and different ways of doing the shadow work, and then it's down to you to really use those tools whenever you need them. Just remember to use them when things are not easy, or there's stress, or there's something. So I think first week it was about ownership of your energy, the law of reflection, and that part of the. So again, whatever that comes to your field is
Reflected in my
reflection of your own energy.
Yeah.
And if you notice you're judging something or you don't like something, it's probably part of your shadow. Otherwise, it wouldn't show up in that way. So it takes some time and effort to see things from a different perspective, because we are used to, and it's so easy to punish and lash on the other person instead of saying that, why this is happening to me?
Why do I feel this way?
Why do I feel this way? Or what energy I'm holding that, this keeps happening, or it keeps coming, or this is happening to me.
Yeah.
Not to me, the taking ownership of your energy. And then we've looked into the part work or internal family system. Do you remember that week? It was about exile, your
managers,
and firefighters. And I found that one also a very useful tool. So there were some exercises about finding the dynamic, the tone, the way your different parts are talking to each other. And it was all this, in this model, it was all about connecting with your managers and giving, honoring them, acknowledging them, and accepting the hard work they've done, for them to then allow you to talk to your exile people, parts.
Yeah.
And we've done also looked into forgiveness. Law of reflection, the universal law of forgiveness and forgiveness mantra in our last call. That was one of the assignments. And one of the most important tools was, that divine decree and the heart temple meditation.
Yeah.
So that is also a very good tool to call in your aspects and try to connect with them. And see what they are. We're bringing yourself to a state of receiving instead of a state of like chattering mind, and receive what the aspect is there to tell you. What is it that you're not seeing about them? And then this week it was all about positive intelligence, or the saboteurs model, which is also another good tool. So out of these tools, which one do you feel more connected with? or called to? Just if you want to share.
For me, it was the heart temple meditation because it's a visualization and that really works for me. And I really feel it when I do it. So yeah, I think that was good. But also writing down the shadows and the ones that you spotted in our coaching session was quite a useful exercise. And realizing that the behaviors that I hate in others, I actually do the same thing myself. I don't know what to do with that conclusion, but it is a conclusion.
And so just remember to use those tools when you are in something, when something is alive. So it's important to, remember that, okay, out of these tools, these are the ones that are working for me. So creating a conscious repeated pattern. So now that you've experienced something, now ask your mind to be your ally and say, okay, if something happens, please remind me to do something. You will remember to use the right tool.
And to be honest, when I went through the saboteurs and they gave me the results, I thought I just put yes to everything. I have each one of those saboteurs.
If you feel like you weren't like in the right, like maybe you can do the test again if you feel like it wasn't an honest answer.
Let's see.
To come to more accurate one.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else wants to share?
I really enjoyed the dialogue I wrote and the conversation when I was sitting with all aspects of me at the table, and writing was very interesting exercise. And also the forgiveness. I connected a lot because lately I was very judgmental, and probably that's what we need to forgive and to release things we can't really control. And it helped me. But it really came in waves. When you feel like, okay, I got it all, I feel so good, and boom. And I feel like, okay, maybe it's the wave thing. I had such a bad week, now the good week is happening, it's coming, I'm embracing it, I'm surrendering to it, because it can't be linear. So we go down, we go up, we go down. At least I try to have this positivity in me, because even Theo was making fun of me that watch out how you walk, and then I feel like it's all the time in my mind that I need to be very mindful of everything I do. But I'm very positive, so everything comes in. It's a push and pull, I don't know. But I enjoyed a lot this, and I feel like I feel like a student that I need to carry this with me and look at them all the time, which is cute. It's nice. I love it. I enjoy this.
So thank you for sharing, Sandra, and it's nice that you're so well aware of things and enjoyed it. Two things that came to my mind was, first of all, it's a cycle, as you said, we're going increase and decrease, but it's not a 2D cycle, it's a 3D. So it's just like this.
Going up.
Going up. So it's a spiral. So you never start, like, even though you think you're going back to like when you're in the decrease cycle, you're not in the same place that you started when you started the work, the self-development work.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
I'm much better. I'm totally a different person. I can feel it, and people around me told me that.
Yeah.
I'm a different person.
So it's important to remember that I am doing a great job. I am doing a great job, and I'm not the person that I was 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. So it's important to remember and recall and self acknowledge your growth. That's one thing. The second thing that came to my mind about the part work, because you said you enjoyed the dialogue. A friend of mine who's really into this, IFS, the internal family system. When she shared a story with me, she said when she was dealing with a very difficult situation which she couldn't deal with, so she put some chairs, like 4 chairs in the room, and on one of them there was a scarf, and on each chair there was a paper or notebook. So really went and sit on each chair and start writing down what each part is saying and telling. It was a really deep family issue she couldn't deal with, so she had to really separate herself into parts and sit on each chair and say, okay, so now what you're saying, and really create a visual, physical sense of departing of the part, and allow them to really feel, okay, embody that part and now move on to the next part. So I thought maybe I'd bring it up for you, what she's done, which I found very fascinating.
Very, very interesting. Very committed to finding the answers.
Yeah. And Natalie, what is your favorite tool?
I like the heart temple meditation, but I got a lot from the first session and identifying the parts that that was really significant for me.
And is heart temple a go-to for you if something?
I haven't done it again, and when I've sort of incorporated it into my own meditations, but it's quite a long one, isn't it? But I will do it again.
Have you done the second version I sent?
I'll have a look at that one.
Yeah, because there was another version. It's similar, but it's a bit shorter, and it's the same heart temple meditation, but instead of Ishtar, it's my other teacher is doing that meditation. I think it was Irina who asked. She didn't connect with the voice, so I said, okay, I have another version. Do you want to try this one?
Yeah. I know what you mean about the voice from Rena, so I'm looking forward to hearing the new one as well.
Yeah, but then it's a channeled meditation. So when she goes to receiving, she's not herself. So
yeah, of course. It's just you have to resonate with the voice, I think, to relax properly, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I just if you feel like there's something that one of the aspects is very strong, or you're feeling distressed, or and then in a really live situation that can benefit from heart temple, you can maybe try this new one. It's in your emails.
Actually, a quick one that you said. What was it? You said, "I am the choice that chooses." Is that what you said?
You are the consciousness. I think I have a note of that because I really enjoyed that when I first. I think I mentioned that to you yesterday as well.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think I can't find it. If I find it, I will send it to you, like the exact wording. But it was like you are not your emotion. You are not your physical body. You are the consciousness that choose, like which situation, or which, like you are the consciousness that chooses what to go for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it's all about. Okay, I think if you don't have any questions or anything, we've done. We're done. It was a very interesting journey together. Thank you for joining the course. I really enjoyed that, and I've been growing and learning with you. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Baha. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
everyone.
Bahar. Thank you, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the light going.
Mm.
All right, bye bye. Lots of love.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.